Hello guys, today we'll be talking about Sonic. Can Sonic survive in the wild? Yes, we'll be asking these unnecessary questions as well, but first we'll be looking at Sonic's height and weight. So Sonic isn't actually a very big creature. The average Sonic's height is around 3 feet 3 inches, and Sonic is around 77 pounds. So Sonic isn't a very big creature. Sonic can of course move very, very fast. In the Sonic movie, he can move 700 miles per hour. It would automatically make him the fastest animal, well, making the cheetah be ashamed. But what would Sonic eat? I don't think Sonic can. Could Sonic take down deers and moose and take on cougars and Canada lynx? Well, the thing is, Sonic is very fast as well. We don't know Sonic's exact durability. I know in the movies he's pretty powerful, but we'll just be making Sonic like a normal creature. He can move extremely fast as well. Okay, he can move extremely fast, and I think Sonic can easily go after smaller animals very easily. So many of the reptiles like rattlesnakes, painted turtles, lizards, fishes, Sonic can of course go after. But what does Sonic eat in the games? That is the real question. Okay, we all know Sonic eats chili dogs in games, which means Sonic can eat any type of meat as well. But that means Sonic can eat chili dogs, which means, chili dogs consist of bread and the chili dog itself, which means Sonic can eat any sort of type of meat. And also eat bread, which is made of grain, which means Sonic can likely also eat plants as well, which means Sonic can have any type of diet as well, as Sonic species are probably not too picky when it comes to food. But it's probably presumed Sonic loves meat more than he loves eating plants or any types of things. An actual hedgehog diet, okay, we'll look at an actual hedgehog diet as well. And hedgehogs can eat various bugs and stuff, but Sonic is way larger than a normal hedgehog as well. Sonic doesn't need to eat bugs. If he wanted to, if he was really desperate, he can probably do, because if normal hedgehogs can eat bugs, Sonic can too. And also Sonic can eat various types of meat. There are various types of birds in the areas, including small birds and goose and ducks as well. And we also have many mammals. The thing is, can Sonic take down a deer? Well, the thing is, Sonic is a very intelligent creature. Sonic can speak our language, which means Sonic is probably very high up there in intelligence, probably very similar to crows, parrots, but Sonic can actually speak full coherent speech as well. And Sonic can also use tools and stuff as well, which means Sonic can probably be able to hunt a deer or two if he was hungry. Sonic can just create a whole spear as well. And what about a breeding population of Sonic species, which is hedgehogs? First of all, these species of hedgehogs will be described by scientists as, will be referred to as the Sonic species. We'll be referring to them as Sonic. Sonic species will be called Sonic genera will be called genera, but what will be Sonic species name? Okay. And I have a pretty decent idea. Sonic Annuus, which is ring in Latin. Because Sonic collects rings, this makes a lot of sense as well. Or you can just make a different word like Quill or stuff, but Sonic Annuus, the species, because Sonic collects rings in the game, makes a lot of sense. Sonic would already automatically go up to near the top of the food chain, or species would as well, because Sonic is a very fast predator. And the thing is, introducing a species like Sonic would probably decimate the ecosystem. Predators like wolves, cougars, and bears, which already inhabit the wild Montana, would struggle. Even creatures like the pronghorn would struggle against Sonic's speed. The fact that pronghorns can move like 60 miles per hour, well, Sonic can move 700 miles per hour, and unlike a cheetah, Sonic doesn't really get tired from running very fast. The only problem with Sonic is that Sonic, we saw in the movie that Sonic can survive, Montana's climate pretty well, but the thing is, Sonic needs a lot of food to run very fast. Usually animals that can go very fast need a lot more food. And to maintain a, higher amount of food, And considering that Sonic is a more active creature, considering he can move. Because let's look at hummingbirds, for example. Hummingbirds move very, very fast, okay? But they're constantly moving, okay? Hummingbirds need way more food. They need to consume 12 times the body weight and nectar each day. So let's assume Sonic is, we're using Sonic's weight of 77 pounds. Sonic would need to consume 900 pounds a day in order to survive as well. And considering the fact that Sonic is way faster, it's probably even way higher, maybe 15 to 16, depending on Sonic's metabolism. But considering that, Sonic isn't as metabolistic as a hummingbird, we're going to assume it's 8 times his body weight, which is 16 pounds of food as well. Again, with all of the herbivores, this actually should not be a huge problem. Okay? For example, the weight of a deer is actually only 150 pounds. So that means Sonic would need to eat 150, at least a couple of deers a day. Okay? And this is, I think, pretty unstable for a population of Sonics as well. Sonic would need to eat so much food that without the assistance of course, humans helping them, what about a much more bigger creature like a moose? The thing is, moose are very aggressive creatures as well. Sonic can move very fast, but Sonic, can probably hunt a moose using his intelligence, which means Sonic will still need to eat one moose per day. Let's assume let's just plop down a population of Sonics as well. The thing is, the Sonics within a couple of days would drive. So let's just assume there's 1,000 Sonics, so they need to eat one moose a day. Within 11 days, the Sonics would just entirely wipe out the moose population, and that would be the problem. Okay, the thing is, there aren't really many animals to sustain a creature like Sonic. Okay, that's why if there was one Sonic, then it's feasible, because Sonic will need to hunt one moose a day. That's 365 mooses. The mooses, of course, reproduce. But having a population of 1,000 Sonics would just decimate the ecosystem. Even like animals like elk, as well, which are other big animals as well. Those are estimated 1 million elk in, Montana as well. And also, let's never get the fact that many animals, a lot of the weight come from bones as well. Yeah. So Sonic doesn't need to eat meat for calories. He doesn't. Also, what's not gonna stop Sonic from? But then we're gonna talk about the other problem Sonic will have to face: humans. Okay, more particularly if Sonic starts targeting livestock. So the cattle in Montana. There's around 2.6 million cattle in Montana. If the Sonics start targeting cattle in Montana after they decimate the moose and elk population, this will put the Sonics at a battle against humanity. As the Sonics are pretty fast, but the thing is, humans are pretty smart too, and would create traps for Sonics as well. Probably putting their favorite food, silly dogs, and this would be a big problem because dealing with the humans is a pretty difficult task. So I don't really think the Sonics have a huge chance of really survival. If there was one Sonic, then maybe one Sonic would have a big territory and would feasibly survive. But a whole population would put them at conflict with humanity eventually as well. Yeah. So how would the Sonics deal with humanity as well? The thing is, the Sonics are intelligent creatures. Okay? Humanity would immediately find out that these creatures are not as intelligent as humans are, but they're still pretty intelligent. They're able to outsmart humans at some points, and even outsmart them in some of their traps. So the humans try to make a pact with the Sonic species as well, and because the Sonics have a high metabolism rate, because Sonics, can move very fast, basically they offer, hey, we can give you as much food as you want to stop killing our cows. Unlike most predators, and also Sonics can, and also let's not forget the fact that Sonics can eat both plants and meat as well. Okay, meat of course is more calories for Sonics. Obviously, it's more pounds, but Sonics don't have to eat meat. Sonics can eat plants as well, as Sonic can eat bread, which is made of grain, which means Sonic can eat plants. as well. So if the moves start getting scarce, there is a possibility the Sonics could just eat plants, nuts, berries, and of course insects as well. As insects, I was talking about, and if you really think about it, insects, I think would become if there are no humans around. So insects would eventually become, along with plants, become the primary food source of Sonics. The thing is, insects are so abundant and reproduce so rapidly. Well, the problem is, the Sonics would have to still survive winter, okay? And that would be a hard task of itself, which means most likely the Sonics could just easily just migrate southward to more warmer and more inhabitable areas. Sonics can move 700 miles per hour, and they can really move very, very fast, and also, there's a possibility they can even move faster than 700 miles per hour, okay? Which is, again, still very fast. So again, it takes around, so for a cow, with traffic and all that stuff, it takes at least 16 hours for people to get from, let's say, Montana to the south. Sonic is going like 10 times that speed, so, Sonic would probably arrive there within a day or two if the temperature is not suitable for Sonic as well, or food disappears. Sonics can always move and migrate to different areas with more abundant food. And places like the South would be perfect at home for Sonic and his species. Or worse not forget, they could also stumble into Mexico, then eventually Central America, then eventually places like the Amazon rainforest, where there's so much food that would be a paradise for Sonic as well. But I think climate, Sonics can just go wherever they want, but I'll give climate an 8 out of 10 for Sonic as well. The habitat, because Sonic can probably survive in a variety of habitats, but I think Sonic would still probably prefer like forested areas, because Sonic, or open plains, which I think would like them both. Food would be a much more difficult task. Considering that Sonics need a lot of food, it'll be a 6 out of 10. Then we have threats and competition, which is the final score. And this would be the hardest one. Okay, the thing is, with other predators like alligators, cougars, and of course wolves, Sonic can just move so fast to get away from these. There is no way Sonic could be hunted by many of the predators. But here's the problem. There is of course one rat species that is very smart, which is humans. And that will be the biggest threat to Sonic and his species as well. As humans create roads and stuff that could be roadblocks, Sonic could of course run into cows and be killed by cows and ran over. And it'll be very hard for Sonics to move across the country because of humans as well. And humans also love to destroy the environment. I know in the United States they do protect the environment way more than other countries as well. So, but what if they move down to like the Amazon? Well, they're not really safe from the government, or Mexico, where they don't really have much environmental regulations as well. Yeah. But I do think that humans may see the Sonic species as a threat and may try to eradicate them as well. I think with threats, it'll be a 4 out of 10, considering the fact that humans exist, and humans might try to kill them to extinction, as Sonics may try to hunt livestock as well, which they'll see as overabundant across the country as well. So, overall, I think the Sonics have a decent chance of survival. I will give Sonics a 6.5 out of 10. So, could Sonics adapt to the climate? So, we'll be giving Sonics several adapt. If the Sonic species don't go extinct, how could the Sonics go? I think one is that the Sonics become more friendly towards humans. Over thousands of years, Sonics have basically become, a part of humanity. A branch of Sonics have managed to negotiate with humanity to basically live alongside humanity as some sort of pets or as equal as members of society. A lot of work creators love to use these creatures because they're pretty fast and they may not be tall as humans are, but they are pretty fast and they're pretty athletic creatures. We don't know how long Sonic species will last, but we'll give an estimate of like 20 to 30 years, as well as those smaller creatures, but with the protection of humans, this newer species can live up to 50 years, but in the last 10 years of its life, Sonics are more older and frail and can't really work or do anything anymore as well. Sonics will also be very vital for crops, helping crops as well. I think these Sonics will be much slower than these wild Sonics, as they are going to be more respectful towards humans and won't need to use their speed all as much, but they're still pretty fast, and they're still faster than cheetahs. So that's another L for cheetahs. Next is a second Sonic that is specialized for only eating meat. These Sonics are predatory Sonics. They are a bit larger than the normal Sonic, evolving to be around 6 feet tall, and are evolved to be speedy ambush hunters that use weapons and they're intelligent to take down large herbivores as well. Also, they do have a way slower metabolism than the original Sonics or the human-tamed Sonics as well. These Sonics have a slower metabolism because they realized because if they want to eat meat, if they want to take down large prey, they mostly sleep most of the day, only waking up to eat a mate or hunt. This species of Sonic is very, very, very aggressive. And the only problem is that this species is very aggressive towards humans, and this species of Sonic is spread across the country, as these species of Sonic also is willing to eat trash from humans, very similar to coyotes as well, and becomes the apex predator of North and even North America. And of course, the third species of Sonic is a bit smaller species. It's a similar sized species, but it's more adapted for more aquatic areas. A small group of Sonics find their way toward the Amazon. At first, the Sonics will struggle with the abundance of water, as historically, even in the Sonic games, Sonic cannot swim. However, these Sonics are more adapted for swimming and around a similar size. These Sonics will be adapted, this species of Sonics will be adapted for the climate of the Amazon. And they will be the third species of Sonic that will be described very recently, around 10,000 years later. These Sonics are more adapted for the jungle climate, are more adapted for going up trees and swimming through waters. They are one of the apex predators alongside jaguars and crocodilians in the Amazon rainforest as well. But the thing is, most of these Sonics diets are actually mostly berries and fish as well, as they're in abundance in the Amazon, and also insects as well. I don't think these Sonics would be the same height as the other Sonics, but these Sonics would eat various bugs, insects, berries, and of course, fish as well. The original Sonics would mostly be gone by now, and the other Sonics will have adapted to the various climates of North America. And of course, we have we would have a hypercarnivorous Sonic that's much more bigger in North America. We would have a more herbivorous Sonic, and a Sonic that is more adapted with living around humans, and even living with humans as some sort of a pet as well. But Sonics will be mostly more owned by rich people, because Sonics have very high metabolisms and are very hard to upkeep as well. But what about the fourth Sonic species that lives in North America? This would be a herbivorous Sonic. This Sonic will sometimes opportunistic eat meat, but because the Sonics basically killed most of the herbivores, not seeing many of them left, basically they start eating a lot of plants. These Sonics, of course, still move very fast, but are much slower than the original Sonics, clocking at 500 miles per hour. They only use the speed to go away from predators. That's the only time they will use, because they need to spend all their days eating. And they eat tons of berries, fruits, and acorns as well. All of these Sonics are also managed in colder climates, managed to learn how to hibernate. Meanwhile, the Sonics in more warmer climates are more adapted for, because of year-long summers, basically, like in places like Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, and Mexico as well. And these Sonics are more found in more open spaces as well. But could Sonics be found in other countries? There are several fellow populations of Sonic found in Europe, Asia, and of course Africa as well, establishing new populations of Sonics, acquiring new adaptations as well. So, I think the Sonics could do pretty well as a species in the modern day. So very likely, the Sonics, with their intelligence, would be able to adapt to all the situations that led them in Montana of the United States as well. Also, don't forget that Sonics would also eat on human food, like garbage and stuff that is left over. Bears can do it very easily, and they're pretty intelligent. Coyotes can, so can Sonics. And don't be surprised in parts of the western United States, sharks use the speed to tip over garbage cans to eat garbage from humans because they want to. Because of course we may see it as garbage, but the sharks were like, this is a feast as well. And sharks will also be seen a lot by around landfills, and also sharks will be found more in urban and suburban areas as people would hand them food because people think they're cute. So that is it. Sonic would most likely be able to survive as a species. The Sonic Hedgehog species would be able to survive and adapt to the various climates of Earth as well, including Australia, and Europe, Africa, and Asia. We're still in the process of adapting to those climates. And that's about this video here. Goodbye.